Welcome back to Squelch, the video game book club. I'm Dano.
I'm Matt at Arms.
And I'm Storm Rage. And we are here to remind everyone that Mass Effect 3 is a game, and that games are supposed to be fun. This week, we are finally wrapping up our Xmas effect from December. What started as a lone game request has morphed into a several-month-long process. So we are now wrapping up Cerberus HQ and Priority Earth. Next week will be the start of our Chrono Trigger adventure. We will be playing up through End of Time. I do not know what that means anymore. In all of Mass Effect, I was able to clearly be like, yeah, this is exactly when this happens. I'm going in super blind, so I don't know what that means. I assume there'll be a prompt that will be like, End of Time. And that it will say in my face what that is.
Yeah, no, this one is the most clear of all of these. Just, you know, because you will reach the literal end of time, and you'll be like, oh, I did it, end of time. So yes, this one will be very clear.
And is it playing through that section or playing until I see the words end of time and then stop?
I played through it because it's not a whole lot in there. It's like about 10 minutes of content, and then you go back to the next week. So
okay.
Yeah, I would say play up to it, like get to that point. So I think the way I put out so we have like the timeline is in Discord. It is in both the announcements channel and the Chrono Trigger channel. They are pinned there. So if you want that, go ahead and take a look for it. But yeah, the idea was I tried to find good like cutoff points. So like up to that point, and then you should be good. So like play through that, and then the next part, leave it be. So I tried to like have like cohesive sections as best as I could remember, and based on the guide. So there also is a guide that we're playing off of. So like it's like areas 1 through 39, and then like it's kind of as spoiler free of a guide as you can get. It's an old like FAQ plain text guide. If you're old, you'll remember those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So ACII art, it's amazing.
Yeah, the ASCII art, yeah, it's great. It's really impressive. I'm not gonna lie, so go check it out. But we're playing off of that. So it's pretty good. And what's really nice is it leads with like, here are like the items that you will find in this section. So like if you just want to make sure you're not missing anything, you can do that and then not read on, which is what I basically do. So I don't try not to miss anything. So, But yeah, so playing off of that, the first week took me about like 6 hours, took Matt about 4.5 hours. So anywhere in between. I did a bit of grinding in like some levels, and then I also like took the long way around in one part to get something like a special item. So, but yeah,
I got lost in a stage, and that was my grinding for levels, because I got lost in a stage and trying to figure out what I was trying to do next, and kept going through a combat loop every time.
I know
we'll talk about it next week.
What you're talking about. Was there a conveyor belt?
Yes. So guess what? I got all my leveling done in that area on accident, as you do.
I forgot that I'm probably going to have to grind a bit in this game.
Honestly, you won't. It's not that bad.
Okay.
At least not so far. Maybe later in the game, I think it's a little grindy. Might be some grinding you need to do, but I think you can get through with that without grinding too hard. For the most part, as long as you. Okay, we're talking about Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. Yeah.
So here's what I'm doing. So just so you know, Storm Rage, if you go to the tech trees on the character like pages, you can see the next upcoming tech thing, and I usually will grind to get that.
Okay.
So I'll try to keep like at level for like upcoming tech stuff. That's kind of what I've been doing. Early levels at least. Later levels we'll have to see, but early levels that's what I've been doing. So
all right.
Yeah, we're also live on Twitch over at twitch.tv/DanoPlay. The O is 0 because I'm cool. You can come check us out there. So, yeah. Should we thank our patrons? Because I think we should.
Thanks. I am pretty incredible.
Thank.
Thank you so much, patrons, for being patrons. Getting to this podcast is like one of the most fun parts of the week. So thank you so much for being a part of that. We couldn't do without your support, so we love you and thank you for that. Getting to do this specific podcast at this time has been an absolute treat. Like this was like I did not know I needed this in my life, but apparently what I needed to do was create a Mass Effect trilogy podcast, and I am so glad that I got to do it because it has been amazing, absolutely amazing. I love it so much. It kind of feels, honestly, this episode feels a little bit like our last episode of being a Hearthstone podcast.
God, it does.
It's like, it has been like 3 months, right? Like it has been quite literally 3 months as we've been doing this for like a quarter, right? It's Mass Effect quarter. The quarter is now over.
We did do Hearthstone for 4 years, so a little bit different, but it still does feel like this week. It felt like we are closing a chapter, and it was really crazy because it's just been a few months. But it feels exactly like this is a big accomplishment. We set out to do a thing, and we did it, and it was amazing. Mm-hmm. So thanks, patrons, for helping us to do that.
Hello, old friend. Let's meet for tea after the match, shall we?
Slurp, slurp, slurp.
It's just not necessary.
No,
what? Why
it's not?
How you do that every week? Slurp for slurp.
Not every week. We don't do 2T every week, though.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We do it most weeks, though.
It was a different kind of slurp, though, this time for sure. Like it was. That's okay, though. That's okay. I don't want to get into that too much. I don't want to get into that too much at all. Anywho. So it is time for the grand reveal of War Assets to determine who was the most prepared and therefore the best commander. Shepard. So for everyone's information, the grand total of War Assets is 8,610. If you don't remember what War Assets are, these are things that you collected throughout Mass Effect 3 based on different things you did in the game. So like these things could be collected on the galaxy map. They could be collected like based on decisions that you made in different conversations on the Citadel, that kind of stuff. So that everything and anything you did would usually add or sometimes subtract from your war assets. So 8,610 was the maximum that I found on the internet. It might not be right, but that's what I found. We're gonna go with that. We're going to start with a random order. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
One thing that I do want to add is that your war assets are also determined by how your previous games went as well. So, for instance, one character that I don't think we talked about on the pod much at all. No, we did. Conrad Werner, for instance, if you save him, he will give you a single war asset. But if you save him, you have the right thing, you've talked to the right people, and you did other things in Mass Effect 1 and 2, he'll give you like 20 war assets or something like that. So a lot of your decisions in previous games come back to increase or decrease your war assets here.
Yeah, and some of you might be, but Dan, you played on New Game Plus. I did play on New Game Plus, but I also modified. I spent 2 whole days. I spent 10 hours making sure that every decision that was made in my New Game Plus was exactly what was made in my first 2 playthroughs, minus Ashley and Caden. So the only difference between them was max level, which does not have to do with anything with the game except for you being max level. And then I changed out Ashley and Caden. So
yeah, it's a shame that we can never verify that, and so therefore Matt and I have to assume that you cheated.
I can give you the save file, Stormrage. I can give you the save file.
I'm never looking at that. Honestly, I think the real difference that we're showing here in these war assets that we're about to reveal really just sort of shows the power of Caden over Ashley. I think that's really it.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know who won yet. We don't know who won. So now,
like I said, true. That's true. I'm just saying.
A totally random order that's not at all predetermined in any way, shape, or form for narrative suspense. We are going to go Matt, then Stormrage, then myself. Matt, what is your war asset total?
My total war asset total was 7,507.
That's very good. Very good. Very good.
I guess. I don't know. It seemed like it. If I was to test, this is what, like 80% there, 90% there, something like that.
I'm sure there's a way
I could do the math myself, but I haven't opened the calculator app. Let me just say that.
If only there was some calculator roguelike you could play to help you get better at it.
You know. Okay, if we're grading, I got an 87% on the test. See, I did the math just now.
There you go. Good job. Good job. Storm Rage, what were your war assets?
I was at 7813.
Woo!
And so that is some of the highest that I've gotten. I think the highest I've ever gotten in this game was 8,000. It's also a little funky, and I'll talk more about like the math behind the war assets and what they mean after Dano reveals his number, which he's last for no particular reason. Dano, what did you get?
8,276.
Pretty big number.
That's 96% of the final, by the way.
I guess that would make me the best Commander Shepard.
Well,
I mean,
that's incorrect.
Pending review. I think we're pending review. There might be some performance enhancing mods in there.
There were no good mods. I looked for mods. Stormwatch had the only good mod.
Yeah, and it was a great mod. I'm going to talk about how much I appreciated that mod in this last scene. I do want to talk a little bit about like the mechanics of war assets and what they mean and how they've changed a little bit. So in Mass Effect 3, before the Legendary Edition, your war assets were a number that wasn't fixed. So for instance, my war assets might be 4,000, but I could increase or decrease that based on how much I played the multiplayer. So if I played the multiplayer, I could increase the galactic readiness rating, which would increase the percentage that my war assets counted as. So for instance, I might have 4,000 war assets, but if my galactic readiness rating was only 50%, that means that I would actually only have 2,000 war assets. In the Legendary Edition, they got rid of the multiplayer, so it's a static fixed number this time, and I don't like that because I wanted to be able to grind the multiplayer in order to successfully beat Dano. So the fact that I can't do that seems ridiculous. And the second thing that I want to note is that war assets determine the ending that you have in this game. And so the higher the war assets, the better the outcome. Additionally, some endings will be locked to you based on how your war assets based on how many war assets you have. So when we get to the ending, I'll talk about some of those changes, so that way you can get a better sense of like, why did I put in all this effort for this ending? Because there are some massive differences depending on how many war assets you have.
Which is cool. Mm-hmm.
It is cool.
I love the war asset thing, and I wish they had done more other things with it. I thought that like it was a really cool visual representation of how the game was going. And so, like, we talked about this a couple weeks ago about, like, other ways I thought they could have used something like that. It was a really, really clever way to kind of, like, gamify, like, collecting, McMuffins, right? So, like, going around the galaxy. But what I did, by the way, I 100% the entire galaxy. I went around and got every single McMuffin in the galaxy. That's
so did I. So did I, Dano. I got every McMuffin. I completed every side quest. There was literally one quest I did not complete, and it was on Omega, and so I couldn't go back and finish it. But that certainly wasn't worth 400 war assets, so I don't know where else you beat me at.
Was it one of the factions on Omega? Because those were all pretty hefty.
It was. I needed to hack the computer terminals. But it's not 400. I know that.
It might have been something to do with maybe like the faction leaders when you're getting with it. There's different choices with those, and doesn't that change your war assets?
Omega doesn't provide more than a total of 300 war assets.
Oh, it definitely does. If you do like the 3 side quests around Omega as well, those are hefty. All the mercenaries. I don't know.
I'm checking this.
What you're doing is Googling how many war assets do you get for starting a game on New Game Plus.
I'm doing that. No,
it's probably 500. I actually got second place.
We'll see. So the total number of war assets on Omega in total is 405. So me completing the entirety of it and missing one side quest did not account for 400 more assets.
I don't know what it could be. So I know that I missed at least 50 on the Citadel from like goofing up the quest with the patient who was having like the PTSD, and I also brought the Dr. Chakwa onto the Normandy, and that was 25 assets there. So I know that I missed out on some of them.
I mean, I did too.
I don't know.
Same. Obviously, I did too. So
Yeah. Anyway, it's we can go back and look. We can go back. We could, you know what? That
I
could be
mean,
after
I
dark.
don't need to go through my war assets.
So we can go,
to
and
figure out
during
where I
After Dark,
failed.
we can open up our games and we can actually go through the war
That sounds
asset
like the
numbers and
worst.
see what the difference is. That's
That sounds like
After
the
Dark-
worst possible After Dark.
After Dark,
and I
the
did
Stormrage's not going through and comparing what our alien numbers are. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, it's After Dark. All right, let's jump into the Mass Effect.
And I'm just gonna leave.
I'm so excited for that now. Here we go.
Now you know how I felt when we talked about the
Intercom's
calculator roguelike.
Anyone say that?
I think I will play the calculator roguelike while you're doing this.
That's smart. That's smart. I think the drop play, did the drop finish?
It sure did, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Joker. I am so excited to give you the final recap into the ending of Mass Effect 3. So, we're going to start with Cerberus headquarters. It's time to take out Cerberus. We spend an evening with our love interest, one last time, which will vary quite a bit depending on the love interest that you have chosen, and then we head into Cerberus. We take on the Cerberus HQ. We finally find out where the Elusive Man's main base has been all this time. We land and find out they're going to vent the area of the space station we're at. Uh-oh, we stop it. Thank goodness Edie is here. We continue to fight through the base that is also filled with video recordings. These are a video journal of sorts that are mostly about the Lazarus Project, which, as a reminder, is the project that brought Shepard back to life. And during the project, we find out things were pretty bad. Shepard was super duper dead, and the Elusive Man had to go through several scientists until he eventually found one in Miranda that finally agreed that it even could be done. We fight our way through the center of the base and finally make our way to the Elusive Man's main base area. This is also the same area that he was giving us missions at throughout all of Mass Effect 2. But, surprise, surprise, the Elusive Man isn't here. He does join us through a holographic chat, and the Elusive Man tells us that he believes he can control the Reapers. We can tell him that he is delusional and that no one can control the Reapers. That's probably not related to anything that will come up later on. He warns us not to overstay our welcome. We eventually find the Prothean VI, who lets us know that the catalyst that we are looking for certainly isn't the Prothean VI, it's the Citadel. And in fact, they believe that the Citadel is the key to unlocking the Crucible's power, and it can amplify the Crucible's power enough that it can finally defeat the Reapers. But the Elusive Man also found out this information, and he let it slip to the Reapers. As a result, the Reapers have taken control of the Citadel and moved it to Earth in order to protect it, since most of the Reaper forces are located at Earth. Kai Lang finally joins, and we get to murder him so good in a boss fight that Dano absolutely loved. It's delightful to finally be able to slash right through him, and we get back to our ship and head back to Earth. How'd you guys feel about the Cerberus HQ?
It was fun. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. I've been using Edie for most of the game, so that wasn't really out of the norm for me. But it was kind of fun watching her kind of get to be in the spotlight. I thought the fight against Kai Lang was a bummer, I felt like. Because like part of it felt very scripted. And this is something that like I really dislike that they've done in this game, Mass Effect 3 a lot, is they will have multi-phase fights. There's maps in Mass Effect 2 as well. But they'll have multi-phase fights, which is normal and fine and good. But the phase won't move on until the character, like the boss, is in the right spot to move to the next phase. So if you're playing, let's say, a sniper that only has 3 rounds in their gun, and you're doing like about a third of this their shield or their health per hit, and this is like a squirrely dude that's like running around nonstop, you get a few hits off them, and like they can't be taken down anymore because they haven't moved on to the next phase. That's really frustrating. I think I took 4 or 5 times to beat Kai Lang, And like one of the times I got 3 shots off on him before he moved on to the next phase. Like, and his health, like this shield just stay there at the last sliver. And I was like, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? I was like, oh, we're moving on to the next phase. And it won't let me do any damage to them until he gets to the next phase of the fight. And I was like, oh, this is just a bit of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
It also has the problem of like, where the mooks just like hit the mooks that come with them just disappear from the or appear somewhere from the ceiling, right? Like there's a secured area where the Elusive Man base where it's like this big holographic room, right, or whatever this is. It's a big, that he's in, where he's staring at the red giant, and then like all of a sudden from nowhere, mooks are coming from the ceiling, with Kai Lang in each phase, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, it breaks the suspension. It's like they should just run through the door or come up through the floor or something, but I just did, when he
why
breaks
would
the
you
floor.
be fine with them coming up through the floor but not coming down through the ceiling?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I don't
storm rage
know.
on this one.
I don't know. I just want them to like, but coming like from the ceiling when there's like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It like it's a secure area. Like it really should just be Kai Lang and like the mooks that come with him, right?
I'm down with that logic. I just think it's very funny that you're like, they can go up
don't
to the
know.
floor. What? No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just.
No, it's a memorable fight, but like in the same way that like all the Kai Lang fights are memorable, in a way that it's like, I feel like this person is not very strong. But like,
Well, like,
it was.
Yeah, you find a video where it's like, you'll be as strong as shepherd. It's like, I better be.
I
Like,
felt like the intro to the fight was kind of frustrating, where like you had to like know what to do with the heavy attack block to like get into the fight. And like if you goofed that up, he would just like one shot you before the fight even began. So that I found slightly annoying, but it was a cool cinematic, but like I thought could have been a cool cinematic, and then the fight began after that cinematic. I don't feel like I needed to like physically block the block and spam the block button or whatever it was in order to get out of the block and then like run away to create distance. But it was fine. The more that I think about the Cerberus HQ, it was kind of forgettable. Like, it's not really like it should be more interesting than it actually was. I think the conversation with the Elusive Man was really cool because it was you kind of assume throughout the game that he has been indoctrinated, but like it is really obvious here that he's indoctrinated, and you're like, oh, you're just like. You're indoctrinated. You like done made an oopsie, and like we're all paying for it now. Cool, thanks, guy.
Yeah, a lot of the base is mooks in hallways, right? That's what it is. Mooks in hallways.
Yeah.
Behind shields, and like you take out their shield columns, and then you take them out.
It's just hard to compare. It's hard to compare Cerberus to the Reapers, right? Because like you had 2 big factions that you're fighting in Mass Effect 3. You're fighting the Reapers, and you're fighting Cerberus. And like the Reapers have like incredibly interesting character models and character design and boss design and enemy design. Like each one is very interesting and intricate based on like the race that this is like. So the cannibals are very different from the Taurian ones, which are very different from the Banshees, which are very different from the Rannochs, right? Very cool, very interesting, and all very powerful. Whereas Cerberus, it's like they're like you have the shield guys and you have the katana ladies and you have the regular mooks.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of it. And I felt like they kind of stopped being interesting, and they were far less powerful than the Reapers. And so it kind of felt like, I don't know, they didn't feel quite as interesting as the Reapers, but I think it was worth it for getting to fight Kai Lang. Though Kai Lang, again, like I feel like in the developer's head, Kai Lang was this big bad guy that was just out to get you. And like, but as you play through the game, you're like, who is this guy? He's kind of whiny, and like, why am I dealing with him? I feel like I've taken care of a million of people like Kai Lang throughout Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3, but this is the one I'm supposed to care the most about. Like, it just should have Kai Lang just been Shepard's clone? Shepard's clone was the worst. No.
There was a fan-made theory that I would be super down with. that I think you'd have to change the narrative a little bit. You couldn't just do it in Mass Effect 3, but the person that you sacrificed on Vermeer come back into that Kai Lang role.
See, that would be
and
cool.
be
That
like
would be
brainwashed.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
No, they just shepherd the other companion. No.
Yeah.
Holy moly. No. That's 1,000 times better. Oh, wow. I hate Kai Lang even more now. Wow. Right? Wow. Okay.
I mean, he's already like LaCroix Shepherd in like the not the best way.
Yeah.
He's like Waterloo Shepherd. He's not like even LaCroix. He's like the water that's like not even good, right? You know. But yeah,
that is
the Vermeer Survivor
a better
being
idea. Holy
yeah.
buckets.
I like that idea a lot.
I love that idea.
The other thing that I do want to note is if early on in Mass Effect 3, you and Jack is alive and you choose not to go to Grissom Academy, in Cerberus HQ, one of the phantoms that you fight is Jack. And she has been brainwashed by the elusive man and made to be under the control of him through his Reaper tech, and you have to kill Jack in this area.
I love that. So it's very similar to what happens later on, and we're going to talk about in the podcast.
Yep.
But no, that's also super cool. Love that because Grissom Academy is one of the big, like, you can miss that one really early on by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which set a tone for the entire game, by the way, that was not met basically in any other missions. Like, Grissom Academy happens very early, and if you don't go there on time, you miss it. There are very few other actually important missions like that, so it set a very strange precedent, I felt like, that...
I don't think that's true. There are a lot of side quests. Like, the DLCs you can do whenever, but outside of the DLCs, basically every side quest has a start point and an end point. But you are a completionist goblin, so you just did all the side quests before you did the main quests. As somebody that has not done that before, trust me, I've missed a lot of them.
That's really funny.
I mean, that makes you almost want to just like, okay, let me just do the main storyline of these games and like miss the side quest in 3 and see what happens.
I genuinely think it is a really good idea to play through on a new game, not a new game plus, but a new game in Mass Effect 3 without any of the like imported or saves or decisions from Mass Effect 1 and 2, just because you realize how much your decisions matter and how many of your companions matter and how bad things can get if you do not make better choices in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's pretty fun, though.
You guys ready for moving on?
Yes.
Okay. Now, and one last thing that I really like is the story choice of the why we lose the Crucible, or why we lose not the Crucible, but the Citadel, because it's pretty clear that the Alliance fleets go all in on taking Cerberus out. Like, it is not a last, like, we're going to send a couple things. It is, we are sending our fleets there, which pulls defenses off the Citadel. So it's like the one time that it is unguarded, and then the elusive man being able to read that and immediately ship it to the Reapers, knowing exactly what we're going to do, I think is a really good illustration of the elusive man's ability to play the field in a very political way.
Very cool.
Next up, Earth. There's a very cool cinematic of Admiral Hackett coming aboard the Normandy to finally talk to Shepard in person for, I think, the first time the entire series, at least in the main series. I know that in the DLC, he talks after the dumb mission where you commit genocide. But outside of that, I don't think he talks to you in person any other time.
You don't run into him in the Citadel at all in Mass Effect 1?
No. I don't think he's in the Citadel.
No. He's like literally he's literally a voiceover a comm in Mass Effect 1.
That's what I thought. Somebody could correct me, but that was my thought process.
I honestly don't remember. I just kind of assumed that I ran into him on the Citadel Mass Effect 1, so.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Additionally, in the cinematic, we see all of the major factions checking in as they all teleport through the Soul Relay, as all of our forces gather, as the music begins to swell, and we see this is the chance to take down the Reapers. This is truly and utterly the ultimate fight. The forces themselves are split into 3 different groups. There is Hammerhead, which are our ground troops. Their goal is to unlock the Citadel. As the Reapers have grabbed the Citadel, they have moved it into position just above London, and they have locked the Citadel. So they have closed the Citadel arms, so we cannot access it. Sword is set to make a way for the Crucible to make it to the Citadel, and Shield is set to protect the Crucible. We are, of course, part of Team Hammerhead because we're ground forces. What are we going to do in a firefight? Not much. We land on Earth and fight our way towards a massive Reaper that is using a Hades cannon to annihilate our forces as they land. We can make an emergency landing to pick up the equipment from the team that was supposed to take down the Reaper. We fight our way to the crash landing. And in fact, Steve Cortez, our shuttle pilot, tries to make an emergency landing or pickup or help us out, but is shot down. Depending on if you've helped him with his trauma or not, he can die here. And there is a very small line of, I made it out, and then you can talk to him afterwards, and he's like, thanks for giving me a reason to live. And if you didn't talk to him and literally help him heal his trauma, he pushes, and he stays in there too long, and he gets shot down, and he dies from the Reapers.
That's fun. Because, like, if when you heal, when you kind of talk to him through, like, the death of his husband, part of it is, like, he's like, I don't really feel like I have anything to live for. I'm just looking for a way to go out, basically. And so that's kind of cool that they provide that in-game.
Yeah, it's really cool. I cannot describe the number of times that I've, like, seen different things occur and then eventually been like, oh, this goes so much worse when you play it the way that I normally play games. We eventually pick up the heavy weaponry that we are looking for, and we take down the Reaper, allowing for more Hammerhead forces to land. But unfortunately, our shuttle pilot's gone, and we just have to survive. We hope that another shuttle can pick us up, and eventually they do. It's Admiral Anderson and Major Coates. Major Coates seems like kind of a major character, but he doesn't really matter. He's fine. He's a human. Who cares? And that's the end of the first mission on Earth. Matt?
I during this section is when I found Morinth.
Oh,
she's one of the banshees in this section. So literally, like, yeah, you're just doing the meet, and like all of a sudden there's this banshee that comes in, and like literally, and the banshee is the only banshee with a name tag, and it's Morinth. As soon as I saw that, I like hit it and like started spamming the screenshot button on my controller.
That's so cool.
Because like, and I'm like, oh, it's Morinth! Ah, there she is! Like the fact that, like, you know, she in the email she sends you at the beginning of the game is like, yeah, I went to Earth and went to go explore. You know, nice knowing you. Bye. And then all of a sudden she shows up right here at the end, ready to kill you as a Reaper is phenomenal.
Really good.
Awesome, because there is a banshee at the kind of the final phase of this fight, the second phase of this fight.
There's a couple phases.
Yeah. So like that starts with a banshee coming down, and then there are a bunch of cannibals that like back the banshee up. The banshee, by the way, easiest banshee to kill because you go and you need to pick up the heavy weapon to knock out the anti-aircraft gun or whatever it is. Yeah. And there happens to be 2 of them. So if you go and pick up the second one, you can trade.
There's a second one?
There's a second one. It's further back. And so you go pick up the second one, and then when the banshee drops, it's one of those like nukes basically. So you have about 5 seconds. So you just kind of keep it trained on the banshee because it will move around, and then it just completely blows her up. And it's like, that is just the cannibals you have to deal with, which the cannibals are tough because of the grenades they drop, and like there's so many of them. But once that banshee's taken care of, that fight actually isn't that bad. Although
that fight was really hard for me.
Right? That was like, yeah, that's like, yeah, that was a difficult fight.
The worst part about that fight is the Captain Coates or Commander Coates, whatever he is, and Admiral Anderson drop down like, we'll cover you. And then there are a whole bunch of like more cannibals that come out. They don't cover you at all. Do not believe them because they're not covering you. If you think they're going to cover you, you're going to die and have to start all over again and run and get that second heavy weapon, take care of that banshee again, and then like make sure that you take care of all the cannibals before you run onto the ship.
Interesting. I just booked it because I was like on the verge of death, and I was like, this is my only shot, and I made it.
Oh, no. I have to clear out the cannibals because 3 shots and I'm out, basically. So I have I'm such a glass cannon that I tried it a couple times, like, okay, I'm just gonna run. And then like I'd pop invisibility and start running, and then I would die like right before I got to the I'm like, oh, okay. So like what I did, I think it took me 3 tries to get it. Like what I ended up doing was just tossing a grenade right at the entrance of where the like as soon as like the extra cannibals came in, right towards where the aircraft was, I threw a grenade on them, cleared them out, cleared out a couple on the side, and then ran for it. And it's pretty easy after that. But yeah, using the second nuke on the Banshee really made that fight easy.
After that, we then move to the forward operating base. That is our one last chance to talk with all of our companions. Do we want to go over what all of those chats are now, or do we want to do a full recap and then come back to it? I feel like it fits better here, but I know in our show notes it's further down.
Let's go ahead and do the recap, and then we'll do like
the FOB.
Yeah, because it's let's just go ahead and talk about the rest of the mission, because it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the mission, so we can recap that during lore. I feel like. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think we can talk about that during lore.
All right. So, after our final chats with all of our companions, there is one last final battle. There is a massive beam in the center of London. The beam is used to send humans to the Citadel so the Reapers can harvest them. But we think we can use the beam to get onto the Citadel and open it up so the Crucible can dock. The problem? A massive Reaper is in between the beam and us. No air support is available, so we've got to do this on foot. We group up with the rest of Hammerhead and fight our way through London, passing buildings that have been reduced to rubble, seeing letters and notes that are left by loved ones pleading for them to survive. We see corpses of individuals that have died in their homes or worse, and help for the other squads, and we try to do our best to help other squads along the way. It goes poorly for nearly everyone. One of the teams makes it to the Reapers, but their missiles miss because of the beam's interference. We make it there. We make it to where that squad was. The squad itself is gone, but their missiles remain. We shoot at the Reaper, but the beam's interference is still significant. We have 1 shot left. Edie does her best to reprogram, but we have to pull the Reaper away from the beam in order for the missiles to lock on. We do our best in what I think is probably the most difficult fight of the entire game, survive, as a horde of Reapers come at you. From Banshees to Husks, everything hits at you. And eventually we lock on and hit the Reaper. Do we want to chat? Because there's a lot of sections in this last fight. Do we want to chat about this final fight? Because this is the last combat section of the game. Matt, how did it go for you on normal difficulty?
It was difficult. It was very difficult. Thank goodness I could recharge my shields on command by charging into things, because that's what I did. I love this section. This section is so much. There's so much going on. They're coming at you from like everywhere at some point, like quite literally everywhere, and it's just like, and you're just. I'm glad I didn't use the. I had the shotgun and like a SMG. I usually went shotgun pistol. I'm glad I didn't use the pistol, because thing's worthless in this situation. I used an SMG and it was so much better in this final
Interesting.
section.
I'll talk about why. I'll talk about a counter to that.
Or not the SMG, like the assault rifle, whatever the.
Yeah.
You know, because like the shotgun like wasn't providing enough damage over time, you know, for as many characters as I was getting. So it was. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going into Warzone. I need a much better weapon than I usually run on my infiltration, my normal missions. And it worked out. I love this section. It's so much, especially when there's like, 4 brutes. It reminds me of like that one section in Tuchanka where you fight like 4 brutes while you're trying to kill the Reaper, while you're trying to attract the
Thresher Maw?
The Thresher Maw to the Reaper. It's so much fun. I love fighting brutes. They're so much fun.
Yeah, I think at one point there were 6 brutes and 3 banshees in the battlefield with me. And I just kept running. I kept running and dropping drones, and then running and dropping drones, and then running and dropping drones some more.
Yeah. So much fun.
So I think I want to talk about the different. So I looked this up, and these are all Husk variants, apparently. So in the lore, all of the Reaper enemies you fight are different variants of Husks. And I couldn't remember what the Taurian Reapers were called, and they are called Marauders. So I looked this up here, and this is super. So we're going to go a little bit off topic here, but I want to share it. So the cannibals, These are a mixture of Brutarian and humans.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
That is one that I never knew.
The Brute are a mixture of Taurians and Krogans.
Okay.
Banshees are Arda Yakshi and Asari.
Okay.
Harvesters are just harvesters. Then the Husk are just basic humans. Ravagers are they're Rachni. Swarmers are Rachni workers. And then the Marauders are Taurians. And then there is Hades Cannon. But so the Reaper, so like the Marauders are Taurians. And those are the ones they have armor and they have sniper rifles and stuff. The Cannibals use grenades and they're unarmored. The Brutes have, like, they come charging at you and they have, like, heavy armor and, like, a very tiny head. The Banshees have both armor and barriers and then, like, warp to you. They're absolutely insane. And then the Ravagers fire missiles. And, like, when you get multiple Ravagers on the battlefield, holy buckets, that gets hard. Like,
yes, it does.
But
So
yeah,
wait, the Morinth race people they don't get assimilated by the
they're
Reapers?
Banshee.
Oh
The Asari.
no,
are
not
Banshee.
sorry. The doctor guy.
Oh, Solarians?
Solarians?
I guess they
Solarians.
don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Guess
there's
I
I mean,
figured
I
it out.
imagine they also never attack Solarian space. Like,
True.
they haven't gone after Solarian space yet, so there's no reason for them to have harvested to a degree that they could produce an army of them yet. That's certainly going to happen eventually, but they went for humans, then Turian. They went to Batarians, humans, Turians, Krogan, Asari, I think was the order. So that's
Okay.
also the order that we see them appear in combats.
You know,
Yeah.
it's been really scary. Elcor Reapers.
Oh, terrifying. Terrifying.
Because
Those
like
tanks.
yeah, because I remember there's one point where there's one side mission where you're like go to the Elcor homeworld and like they talk about like we basically we strap heavy weapons to our back and
Yep.
and then making Elcor Reapers would have been amazing. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
That would be super cool. But yeah, I loved this fight. So did you actually take down the different waves or did you just like survive the different waves?
I took down the first, I can't even remember how many waves there were, the first several, and then the last one I just ran around. I just ran around and survived because there were too many.
Yeah, so I cleared all the waves until Edie said it was ready to go, and then it was basically like just clear what was ever in front of me and then just dash to the console. And I could not get the console button pressed, and I was like, it kept on putting me into like I'd hit the button and it would put me up against the wall like I wanted to like go under cover. And I was like, no. Took me like 3
Did you want to get into
tries.
cover right here? Because this is a great spot for cover.
I was like, please. Because I always
No,
ended
just
up
press the
getting
button.
pushed super far back against the wall, basically, by the Banshees. Because I kept on trying to get
man.
further and further back because you did like multiple Banshees. So I had LaCroix, Caden, and Garrus with me on this because I needed just like the best firepower possible, I figured.
Yep.
And so I took them along, and boy, that party is good, by the way. LaCroix Shepherd is actually a lot better than I gave him credit for. So, but yeah, the first wave was tough. And then I got the wave of the Brutes. I was like, okay, Brutes are pretty easy to take down from range. Because like for a sniper, they were actually pretty easy to take care of. And then like the third and the fourth waves, like after like the failed, like, which goes, okay, you can go give it a press, and you give it a press, and it fails, and you have to go back into cover. And then the Banshees start coming and coming and coming. That's when it got really, really hectic.
Yeah.
Like I started using like my companions as shields, and was like, basically like you are fodder for me to just try to survive. Like I was out of healing. I was just like, this is the end. It was
All I was doing was just running to get any. There were a couple heavy weapons, so I ran to grab the heavy weapons. I used them on any Banshee. I grabbed any ammo I could. I kept refreshing my med, and then anytime an ally would go down, I'd slam the heal. Just because I was like, I don't need you to do damage. I just need you to exist so they can target you. That's the important thing right here.
Oh, I was using, because both Garrus and LaCroix Shepherd are so good against the Banshees, because like LaCroix Shepherd can burn through their barrier, and so like using him to burn through barrier was like such a big deal.
I I did have Liara and Tally, so I did use their abilities because Liara can use Warp, which shreds their armor, and then Tally can use Energy Drain to drain the barrier. So it was a very good combination. I also, as far as combat goes, you mentioned that you didn't want to bring a pistol. I brought the pistol that you get from the Citadel DLC. That thing rips. That just like cruised through brutes without any problem. It was dealing more damage than my fully upgraded assault rifle was. So I was just slamming that for everything that I could, getting ammo, slamming it again.
That's crazy.
The assault rifle I brought was the one that regenerates ammo over time. I forget what the name.
That's the other one that you get in the Shore Leave DLC.
Yeah, and that one was like just did so much damage. I was like,
Sure.
I wish I had this the entire game.
I had LaCroix Shepherd using the beam, one of like it was either collector beam or whatever it was. That thing was absolutely nuts because like it's terrible for like a player character to get to charge it up, but for like one of your companions to use, it's just basically this lightsaber, like just going across the entire battlefield and just like taking enemies out. And I'm like, this is amazing. But yeah, that fight was absolutely nuts, and it took me forever to get through that fight. It was like both like extremely frustrating and extremely like fun. Because it was supposed to feel like an unwinnable moment, right? Like this is it. Like they start the comms with like, we've lost the left flank, we've lost the right flank. They're coming your way. What do you just survive? And it was such a cool moment. But then like trying to like from like a story angle, it was amazing. But from a play wise angle, it was like I just can't do it.
No, this made up for like the kind of disappointment there was on the Citadel, or not on the Citadel, the
Cerberus HQ.
The Cerberus HQ, where it's just like mooks, just mooks after mooks in hallways full of mooks. This was like horde mode and just was so much fun. I had so much fun in this section.
This is my favorite mission in all of Mass Effect, and it's also the most difficult mission in all of Mass Effect. It's just so well done. The sense of urgency, the music, the intensity, the lighting, the design of the level itself, because there's like 4 different areas you can kind of hide in that all have resources, and then there's like the streets, and then there's kind of cover in between, and it's just such a well-designed level.
I'll tell you one thing, though. I was incredibly disappointed the game didn't end right there. I was like, this is it. This is the point. This is the climax. We hit the button. We are overwhelmed. I have like 4 different branches on the map at this time. Marauders are everywhere. Like, there's no way to get out of this. I hit the button, and then Shepard and us were all going to go, but we're going out heroes. So I was like, oh, this is what an amazing ending. And then it didn't end.
Yeah, doesn't end there.
Then the ending happened.
From there, let's go ahead and get to the ending. From there, the rest of Hammerhead arrives. We have one last stretch. Run to the beam. Get to the beam, no matter the cost. Harbinger, the Reaper from Mass Effect 2, is on its way since the Reaper that we just killed and the Reaper that was protecting the beam went down. In an absolutely brutal cinematic, a Reaper lands and tears through our entire squad. Every single soldier is just annihilated. If you do have enough war assets, Joker will make an emergency landing to save your 2 squad mates. If not, they die to the Reaper beam. Everyone is seemingly destroyed. Major Coates comes onto comms and tells us that everyone has been killed. They're going to regroup. Shepard isn't dead yet. Shepard was ripped apart, but he is barely moving. He makes his way into the beam when Admiral Anderson comes on the comms to tell Shepard that he is here too. We walk through the Citadel past a mountain of corpses and destruction until we find a control room. Anderson is in there, and so is the Elusive Man. Turns out he does have the ability to control humans. He has infused himself with Reaper Tech and can control Shepard and Anderson to a pretty significant degree. And in fact, he forces Shepard to shoot Anderson. Anderson slams into the Elusive Man that he is insane and that no one can control the Reapers. Depending on your choices that have made both in this game and previous games and your Paragon and Renegade checks, the Elusive Man will either take his own life or Shepard will be forced to take it. If you really mess up, the Elusive Man will execute Anderson before Shepard reacts. One way or another, the elusive man is finally defeated for good. Shepard opens up the Citadel, and the Crucible finally begins to dock. Anderson tells Shepard, if he is still alive, that he is proud of him, and then Anderson dies. Shepard seems like he is on the verge of death as well. Hackett comes onto the comms to tell Shepard that nothing is happening with the Crucible. Shepard needs to do something. Shepard crawls over to the console, but passes out before he can do anything. He falls onto the floor, and the floor itself rises up. Shepard is taken to the top of the Citadel, where it is docked with the Crucible. Shepard is awakened by a voice. It is the digital form of the little boy that has been haunting our dreams and a manifestation of Shepard's PTSD. He appears as a VI, and in fact, he somewhat is. He is the artificial intelligence that controls the Reaper. This is what the Leviathan created. We have one last massive lore dump before we are presented with our final choices. Using the catalyst, we can choose from any of the following. You can destroy. This will kill all Reaper forces once and for all. It will also destroy all artificial and VI intelligence, meaning Edie and the Geth, they're gone as well. It will harm all technology, but most of it can be repaired eventually. You can choose control. We gain full control of the Reapers. The only way this can be accomplished is by Shepard fully integrating the Reapers. Then he controls them. But Shepard's body will be no more, and what made him Shepard is also no more. Finally, you can do synthesis. Shepard can combine their own DNA with the beam in order to infuse every creature with both synthetic and organic DNA. It is the final evolution, if you will. Shepard will be no more, but there will be peace between organics and synthetics, because there is no longer a distinction between the two. And the AI that created the Reapers believes that this is the ultimate and best choice. One final cinematic shows Joker trying to stay around for as long as possible until the Crucible finally explodes, and Joker runs through a Mass Effect relay trying to outrun it. He eventually crash lands on the ship, and a series of pictures shows where our companions end up. This is heavily dependent on the amount of war assets we have. It ends up with our love interest putting our name on the board of the fallen heroes. Or maybe not. Talk about that here in just a second. The final scene is a beautiful shot of a grandpa in very far focus telling his grandson the story of the Shepherd. So let's talk about the ending. Matt, what did you choose? What did you think of the ending?
All right. So I initially, right away, I picked Destroy because what we're doing, what are we doing in this game? We're destroying the Reaper. We're ending the cycle. We're destroying the Reapers. What's the best way to make sure that happens? Destroy the Reapers. Yeah, unfortunately, the Geth and Edie get swept up in it, but you know, I also killed a ton of Batarians too. So,
but that was just for fun.
That was just for fun. Yeah, this, so like whatever, little genocide on the side. Make sure the cycle never happens again. That's why I did Destroy.
Dano, I did not realize that you did not know that there was a choice to make here. So you just walked straight forward and chose synthesis.
Yeah.
Because there's control, you have to go to the left, and then with destroy, you have to go to the right. But if you just go straight and you just choose synthesis.
Yeah. No, it was just like, I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess like you just lore dumped on me that like this option's bad because of A. If you choose to destroy AI, it will just come back in a few generations. And if you choose control, then you're really not something I don't remember. And then it's like, or you can meld everything into one thing. And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess what you're saying is this is what we do. So I walk forward, and then the ending happened. But before we get to that part, though, Anderson jumping on comms was very much somehow Anderson returned.
Yeah.
Somehow Anderson made it up the light beam. Yeah.
It's like I barely got there. I was like, okay, whatever, fine. It's cool. You would have Anderson there. Anderson could be there.
And I didn't know that the elusive man would be able to off himself. That would have been a perfect way to end the game for me, because that's how I got what's his name, the first bad guy, Saren to take care of himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what happened on mine was for the elusive man. He took care of himself.
Did you do the renegade? Did you do the renegade trigger or no? Because I did the renegade trigger, and while the elusive man's talking, I just shot him.
No, I didn't.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty great, actually. That is pretty great.
It's like he's doing his monologue. He's doing his villain monologue. You just go bam, and he's done.
Pretty much perfect. No, he like brought the gun to his head, and yeah, but no.
Okay.
The ending, I don't know. So it wasn't just like intelligent beings and like machines that became melded. It was all life. So it shows the trees as people machines, and it shows the like everything is a people machine now. It was weird. Like, and so all of a sudden, like the Geth, like the Reapers take off, and then like it goes on this cutscene. It's like, and now we're all best friends, and we're all singing Kumbaya. And I was like, that is the most unbelievable part of this. Like, I can accept that. Like, there is a future where we are going to get into war. Like, I could accept that. Like, this is real, like a real documentary where we're actually going to fight the Taurians, and there's actual Mass Effect relays out there, more than I would ever believe that like any intelligent species would just accept that oh, okay, we're all perfect now. Like, it was brainwashing to a massive degree. Like the quote unquote best ending. It was.
It also said something said for body autonomy. Like he's like, oh by the way, everybody in this galaxy is now a synthetic.
I thought it was
hybrid
such
synthetic.
A bummer,
and
ending.
you don't get a choice in the matter. Yeah.
So let me present my defense of all three endings. Not that they are necessarily the best ending, but I think that they are interesting choices, and I think that they are better than most people give them credit for. So I want to just go through ending by ending. With regards to Synthesis, the one that we've talked about, the one that combines all human and synthetic DNA.
The shiny vampire ending, where everyone becomes a green shiny vampire. Okay.
You mean yes. the green bubble, basically, is what this one is.
I think I'm going to start with like the cons, and then I'll go to like why I still think that there is like some narrative value to it, even if I don't think that it's the best ending. Synthesis is obviously the main problem with it is like the issue of bodily autonomy. We're making this choice for every living creature in existence. That sucks. I think from a narrative perspective, our entire game, for many of us, has been uniting the galaxy, has been bringing as many people together as possible. We ended the war between the Geth and the Quarians, all of us. And in that way, it is the focus of genuinely bringing together this question. And the AI's question of like synthetics will always rise up against their creators. I think that there's validity to that. I think that that is a true trope that they've likely seen in cycle upon cycle upon cycle, themselves included. And this is that final evolution that would prevent that from happening. So I think that in that way, it makes sense why that choice is presented. With regards to control, the negative of it is that it kind of shows the Elusive Man is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sucks because the Elusive Man sucks. But the reason that I think it is an interesting choice is if you make it, the Reapers not only showcase like that the Reapers will no longer do the thing that they're doing, which is harvesting all life on Earth, but also I think there is validity to the Elusive Man's claim that using Reaper technology can advance all society light years ahead. And I recognize that that's not actually a term of time, but that idea of the Mass Effect relays skyrocketed our understanding of technology. The idea of genuinely contributing with Reapers, like, there's no reason that disease should exist anymore at that point. There's no reason that poverty should exist at that point. If we're able to harvest what the Reapers have to offer, the end result is unquantifiable. Now, you're doing that through debatably the least moral means that has ever existed, but there is an end goal there, right? Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I really didn't pick control is one, yeah, it makes the Elusive Man right. Also, two, you could. I understand, like, Shepard is somehow immune to indoctrination, quote unquote.
Yeah.
How do we know that? For one, two, how do we trust an AI that was built to destroy humanity, to destroy all living life?
Yeah.
How do we make your options are destroy everything, or do two options that may or may not be actually true.
Mhm.
Like, how much do you trust the AI in this game?
Yes.
Like the AI, the Reaper AI and the Starchild AI, which also, yeah, reminder, they use the form of a child you saw die at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing their best to try to emotionally manipulate you to make a choice that is not destroy.
Yes, I think that is also true. I
So,
think then destroy is the final option. And actually, technically, there's a fourth option that we haven't talked about. Destroy, the con of it is that you kind of undo a lot of work that you've done to promote the Geth, and you have to kill one of your squad mates, somebody that has saved you countless times in ED. And that's brutal. But the pro of it is that's the mission. The mission was kill the Reapers, and finally, fully, entirely, without any if, ands, or buts, you succeed. And additionally, if you have 7,600 resources, it is the only ending in which Shepard lives.
The problem is that like they're very clear. The game's like very clear. It's like, yes, this will destroy all synthetics and the Reapers, but people just gonna make more AI, so this isn't really gonna work. And you're like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like I really felt like they basically were like, you really only have one option, and the option is synthesis. It's insane to me that you just aren't given, like, if you want to have options given, just control or destroy, right? You can control the Reapers and then like harvest them for their technology, or you can destroy them and have to like gain that knowledge slowly and naturally through scientific progress, right? That seems like just a really cool, good final ending and a really cool, interesting choice.
So that was the original ending. Originally, there were only two choices, control and destroy. But people complained so much that those were the only two options and there wasn't a golden ending, essentially, that they added in synthesis later on.
Well, no. So like the idea that like destroying the Reapers also means destroying the Geth and destroying Edie is insane to me. I don't understand why those two things. It's like
because
they're making this
because the destroy option destroys anything that's been touched.
But it doesn't have to be. It's not like that's something that they could just have not written in. They chose to make the destroy option destroy the Geth and destroy Edie. Like,
sure,
they could have made it destroy the Reapers
because they use Reaper code, and that you destroys everything that's touched by the Reapers.
Again, but this is what the writers decided and didn't have to be.
Yeah.
So it just. I don't know. They just seems all three seems really. They just all seem, I don't know, less fun or interesting. I don't know. I think the game ending with Shepard and party dying in that final battle after they freed the Citadel, and then the Citadel going and taking care of everything else would have been an amazing ending on its own without any sort of final choice or any sort of final info dump or anything. Like, I don't know that we needed any of it. Like, I think surviving that final battle, hitting the button, and then being overwhelmed would have been an amazing ending. Because, you were overwhelmed. You could not clear out those enemies. So, it didn't really make any sense that, oh, you're good, so go ahead and run to the thing. We were completely overwhelmed. And, I thought that was, so, narratively speaking, it didn't make much sense that all of a sudden they were all gone. So I would have just preferred there to be no choice at the end, and then just
sure.
You did the thing. You pressed the button. You are the hero, but you Simon Belmonted it. You couldn't survive your wounds. Super cool. Love that. That is the way to go. I don't know that I needed any of that final stuff. I didn't need any of that. I thought that if the game just ended boom at the end of that final mission, that would have been absolutely awesome, because surviving that final mission felt so amazing. Doing it, surviving it, and and this is, I'm talking about this later as well. It was a really cool mission. And so adding this, and it was so slow, and it was very Mass Effect 1 in the way that it just and now we dump stuff on you. And I was like, oh man, this is this, we go from this crazy high of just this crazy moment of combat that was just nearly impossible to complete, and then that super cool moment when you do get there, and then it's just this slow moment where, like, you can't walk and you're dragging your leg and you're trying to headshot these husks and they still overwhelm you, and so you have to do it 2 or 3 times because it wasn't easy to do on Insanity. And like, I was like, this is so anticlimactic. The entire end was very anticlimactic. I felt like they just lost the plot at the end there. They lost like it just didn't click, didn't work. I felt like it didn't need to be wrapped up. It could just be, boom, done. You accomplished it. Maybe there's like a scene of the elusive man being in the Citadel going boom, and then, the Reapers shutting down. That's super cool. I don't know.
Matt, what did you feel about the ending?
I went back after picking the Destroy ending and did the other 2, and was not satisfied as much as I was. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but like, I didn't find the other 2 as satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And I just talked on it for reasons like, I felt like they were manipulative. I think the ending I got was like the best one, where Shepard destroys the Geth, or destroys the Reapers and sacrifices themselves in the process. That's because where I felt like that was the most one that fit the way, at least the way my game, the way I played the game.
I love this ending, and I know that is not a common statement with regards to Mass Effect 3, but I think that the way that they frame it, I like that there is a consequence to every action. No action is perfect. No action is ideal. We're talking about wiping out a species, wiping out threat that has been going on for millennia. And I like that they also have to kill the Geth and EDI. I think Control is interesting because there are some positives and upsides. I think Synthesis is the natural evolution, but also sincerely problematic. And I just liked it. I liked being able to wrap up what the Reapers were doing. I liked that the AI admitted, hey, this isn't working anymore. Pick a new option. And so I understand Dano being like, this was the good ending point. Why didn't we end here? Super get that. For me, I wanted a little bit more, and then I got it, and I kind of love it. There is a fourth option. There's a fourth ending option that neither of us picked, which is refusal. If you turn around and you just shoot the Star Child, then the Reapers win. And he goes, fair enough. And the Reapers wipe out all the life in the galaxy, and you get a voice recording hinting at that the next species, that the next Apex species, was able to deter the Reapers, but it's pretty vague on whether or not they were able to defeat the Reapers based on the information that you gave them.
Where man sees 2's pass, the chicken sees 3. That is straight up Scooby-Doo right there. There's the path behind you as well, the 2 in front of you. That's awesome. I love that. I would have liked the 3 endings a lot better if it wasn't so manipulative in how they were like,
sure.
And how the writers were like, this is the way we want you to go. Mm-hmm. Or if that wasn't that way initially, maybe that makes more sense. If it was just the 2 and they were just laying out how both options are bad, that is better. Because like, they say how Control is bad. They say how the not Control is bad. And but they never say how Synthesis is bad, right? And so it's like, that's why I was like, there isn't a choice. There's not a choice there. You just make everybody a shiny green vampire. Because like I say shiny, just in case you haven't watched, Google the ending. Everyone is shiny. Everyone has shiny skin like
everyone's very shiny.
Yeah.
And there's like little tech stuff around their face, and it's like,
very strange. The most insane part of the ending is they couldn't even be bothered to use a child model in the final scene.
That one is legitimately insane. That one is correctly insane.
Go Google this. They just took the adult model of the narrator at the very end, and then they just put it in the corner. They clicked and dragged in the corner and made it tiny. And so it's just 2 different size pictures. It's insane. I was like, how could you not be bothered to have an artist draw a child This
Yeah.
is like the culmination
Yeah.
of 3 expensive video games, and the best you could do was have somebody just
Copy
drag
paste
from the
reduced by
corner.
30. We're good.
Like, what are we doing?
The last thing that I want to mention about the endings is how much your war assets determine what your ending is. So I not only can 7600 get you the only thing where Shepard lives, and he only lives by, you see, like your love interest is holding on to Shepard's nameplate as they're about to put it up on the wall of heroes, of fallen heroes, and then they don't, and then you see the rubble where Shepard was buried, and you see a very slight movement, and the devs have confirmed that that's Shepard being alive, and that's like the canon, not the canon ending, but that's the explanation for what happens at that ending.
I kind
But
of hate that ending. I kind of hate it.
That's totally fair. You don't have to pick that one.
Yeah. No, I mean,
The other things that happen is if you have less war assets, then there's like these several cards that will play and like kind of hint at what happened to people's lives. And so like it'll show Rex and Eve having a kid. It'll show Miranda helping with the rebuild effort. It'll show Tally coordinating with on Rannoch. But if you don't have enough war assets, it's just a lot of funerals. Like, it's utter destruction. It's cities that are destroyed beyond recovery. It's your companions dying or, like, crying around at the destruction that has happened. And so, like, the amount of war assets you bring significantly determines, like, what happens afterwards, even though it is really pretty vague.
Yeah. No, I mean, great game.
It's real
very good
fun.
game.
I like it a lot.
This one's a real page turner.
It's time for everybody's favorite part of the show. Where are our friends? Up this week, it's Squelch people again to talk about where our friends are. So we're going to go over when you go about halfway through Priority Earth. You get to like what's left of a base, basically. And there is a communication tech who has the magic to talk to anybody, no matter where they are, by you just saying their first name. I'd like to speak with Grunt. No problem. Here's Grunt. I was like, this technology is beyond everybody, but so what?
this guy's the best tech in the Citadel. Or whatever.
You're not a tech. You're a magician. You're a communication magician. So we're just going to go through that and talk about kind of where everybody was, what everything was doing, that kind of stuff. So first up, James Vega. LaCroix Shepard is sad and slightly surprised that Earth is all messed up. It's really weird. Shepard tells him that this isn't the ending, just another beginning, and that after they destroy the Reapers, it'll be time to rebuild. And he liked that. Mm-hmm. Lieutenant Cortez. Cortez had to bail on Shep, and Shep was glad Cortez didn't blow up. Cortez said that he wouldn't have crashed if he was flying his old Trident. And apparently, if we didn't like help him like get through, some tough times, he would have crashed that ship as well, which is super duper cool. I absolutely love that. That's so neat.
For Ashley, there's a brief scene where Ashley shows that she is like really concerned about the upcoming fight, and there's like genuine fear. And I think that's one of the first times that you see Ashley with fear, outside of maybe if you don't choose her for the Vermeer Survivor, but even then, she's still pretty like accepting of it. So I think this is the first time where we really see that fear outside of just like concern or worry for Shepard. And if you are her love interest, Shepard calms her down by sharing a poem.
Can I read the poem, though? Can I read the poem?
Yeah.
Thanks. So it's roses are red, violets are blue. I wish I'd saved Caden. How about you? You're welcome.
I mean, if she
off the top of my head just now, by the way.
Yeah, great job.
If she replaced Kai Lang, she would have been great.
Would have been so cool.
Would have been really cool.
So what's the actual poem, Storm Rage? I'm sorry.
So this is just a section of the Charge of the Light Brigade. It's also one of my personal favorite poems. I really, really love this. It's in reference to the Charge of the Light Brigade during the Civil War, where these soldiers went up against artillery and basically just got wrecked because they tried to take a position that they couldn't have. Pretty reminiscent of what's about to happen here. And the phrase that Shepard shares is, Boldly they rode into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell. And Ashley pleads with Shepard to not go, and then says, I love you, one last time.
Very cool. I mean, as cool as it gets with Ashley, I suppose. She's okay and has a good to later. But anyway, so I'm kidding. Ashley, I'm sorry. So Edie asks why in the world the Reapers aren't just using their vast, overwhelming firepower to wipe out everyone on Earth. Shepard explains, it's a good question. Shepard explains that they are overconfident and that is how we will win. Shep asks Edie if she is afraid, and after some prodding, she responds, quote, the Reapers have destroyed thousands of civilizations, but they haven't destroyed ours. Which I think is so cool. The Reapers have destroyed thousands of civilizations, but they haven't destroyed ours. I love that. One of my favorite lines from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad she dies.
Depending.
I don't know if I wouldn't have chosen that option if I had realized. So Garrus and Shep both know that this is almost certainly going to end badly, but instead of talking about that, they chat about how once this is over, they're going to retire to some beach somewhere. Garrus recites something he heard from Vega. May you be in heaven 30 minutes before the devil knows you're dead. Garrus tells Shepard that he doesn't know if Tauren heaven is the same as human heaven, but if it is, and this all goes sideways, to meet him at the bar. It was very, very cool moment between two friends.
I love this moment a lot. It's one of my favorites. I love that there's like this very real, earnest, we're both going to die, but I have loved you. I have loved you throughout this. Thank you for that. Yeah. And we can't say those things. So instead, I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to buy you a drink after this.
It's like, yeah, Shepard and Garrus are like just bros. Like even like FemShep and Garrus are just bros. And it's amazing. It's such a great, like, they're like such, like they are basically like the two main people of like Mass Effect for me is Shep and Garrus. Shep and Garrus is just great. It's such a great combination.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Grunt asks, thanks, Shep, for letting him out of the tank. And they talk about being awesome. And, you know, because Shepard's awesome. And also, Grunt is also awesome.
They are awesome.
They're just awesome. I love that. It was very much kind of like, we're both awesome. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, it's like, let's go kick some butt. Yeah, let's go do that. Yeah, it's like, it's great.
So Jacob brags about his kill count being through the roof. They talk about that drink they never got to have after the suicide mission, and that they will make up for it after this is all over, because they're best bros, and that is a lot of fun.
Did he take his youth group with him?
He did mention the youth group.
For Javik tells Shep that the future is still out there, even though everything looks so bleak right now. That is the closest anyone has ever gotten to beating the Reapers. That this is a moment of hope. And Javik tells Shepard that they're going to win. And when they do, he will finally put his soldiers to rest. And he will no longer be the avatar of vengeance. And it's just a really cool moment of Javik finally believing and not just doing it because he is bred to murder Reapers, but doing it because he believes in it. And it seems like whereas actually it's the first moment of fear, for Javik it feels like the first moment of hope.
Yeah. I love where he's like, after this is over, I'm going to go to I think it's like Caronia Nebula. Can't remember what it said. I'll put my soldiers' ghosts to rest, and then I will join them. Yeah. And he's like, and then Shepard continues to ask more, and he goes, no, it's time for the last Prothean to be gone, or whatever it was. And I was like, that is absolutely, it's kind of amazing and super cool. Mm-hmm. Not a character I loved, but that moment I thought really, it was a really cool character moment. Like you said, it was the first moment he believed. And so like just hearing you say that, I was like, oh, he was kind of awesome, wasn't he? I guess.
He was in the final, like I took him in the final mission with me, and he was great. Cause like, you know, who else to fight the last bit of the Reapers than with Javik? Yeah. And it's like, and there's the great scene when you like, where he gets wounded, and then like Joker comes in, swoops in, and he's like, no, don't take me away. I'm done. Just let me die here. Like, it's great.
I
But
am
like,
curious.
he gets dragged in there by Garrus.
After this, I want to hear who everybody brought on that final mission, and then what that scene was during that pickup, because that pickup scene wrecked me. It
I'm
hit
jealous.
me hard.
I'm jealous. Joker, we don't get to talk to Joker, which I thought was really weird.
That is weird.
That is
Right?
a bit weird.
So Cadence was the absolute best. So Cadence was Garrus's, but like to the next level. It was so great. So Caden and Shepard talk about being the old soldiers. They talk about being, through it, basically being through it all together. Caden thanks Shepard for being that mentor and kind of father figure that he didn't have growing up. And they talk about how this is probably the end and how they're both okay with this and that they're going to go down fighting and that they wouldn't want it any other way. And then Shep walks away, and then you hear Caden say with like a slight smile on his face, he goes, I've never been to London.
It's really good.
It was so good. Like I cannot tell you how happy I am that I made the effort to play through Caden through Mass Effect 3. Because in Mass Effect 1, he was a bump on a log. He was awful. And in Mass Effect 3, he was like Garrus and Jacob combined into one like super friend. He's
great.
So cool. Like he was just this amazing. You could see him being the second human Spectre. Like it made sense for him to be the second human Spectre. He was this confident soldier who you could see like being a leader who cared very much about those he led. And Caden was hands down like one of the coolest characters. I would say in a game with pretty weak companions, Caden was extremely strong and extremely cool. Absolutely loved Caden in this game. Absolutely loved him.
All right. Kasumi says that the Citadel's ready, and they don't know what it's going to do, but it's ready. And that's about it. She doesn't really do much in this section at all.
Yeah, they had no idea what to do with Kasumi. And she was super cool. But like in both games, they really had no idea what to do with Kasumi.
I actually think that they did exactly... I really like what they did with Kasumi. Because she tells you really early on, I'm not a soldier. That whole collector thing, never going to do again. I can help in the back lines, but I am not fighting the Reapers. And I think I like that they don't make everybody a hero. Kasumi's not a hero. She helps, but she doesn't want to do what Shepard wants to do. And so I think that you are right to an extent. They sure could have and should have done more with her, but I do like that she's just not involved with the fighting in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good point. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to talk about Liara? Because she was part of the harem, right?
Yeah, she was. And but Matt also romanced Liara. So Matt, do you want to talk about talk about it here?
Yeah, like Liara's like so you meet up with Liara. She's like in six bay, and
that's a different podcast joke.
yeah, and like she's just hanging out, like and she's. And then basically, like while there's like a soldier like recovering, you two have a mind meld. There's a way to say farewell. It's a vision of the galaxy. Final moment of peace. Y'all make out in front of the soldier who's recovering. It's great. It's a nice little scene. Session. Yeah, mind meld with a makeout. It's great. Nice
it's not really a full makeout though. It's like one deep.
It's like a goodbye kiss. Yeah.
And it's just such a weirdly peaceful moment. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it was the same thing for mine, but instead of like being the makeout session, it's just kind of this moment where they're like hanging out in the galaxy, and you're like, oh, neat. Bye.
Yeah. It's like, she's going to be around for 1,000 years and possibly show up for the next game. Who knows?
She won't, because next game we'll talk about that later.
And we'll talk about that at all. No, not yet. Miranda is out there helping the Alliance. She tells Shepard that this is goodbye. But no matter how this ends, everything will be different. Because we're in war. Shep assures Miranda it's not the end, and that things may be different, but they're going to be different on their terms. Dan apparently had some issues with this.
I didn't get it. Like I didn't get it. It was very much vague. She was like vague booking to your face. It was like,
I mean, it's Miranda.
I think what she means here is that Miranda has her entire life done two things. Been with Cerberus and fought her father. And she has always had a clear job and an identity that was outside of the bounds of like the legal system necessarily. And with everything wrapping up, like Miranda's identity is gone. Her father is dead. Cerberus is gone. The elusive man is dead. Admittedly, she doesn't know that yet, but she knows she's not going back to work for him. And she has always been a soldier, just in a very different way than Shepard has. And so I think that she is kind of terrified for what the world looks like when she's not trying to manipulate everybody, when people have to just count on her for her being her.
cool. Makes sense. I like Miranda as a character. I thought she was great.
I do too.
I liked her better in this than I liked her than in 2.
I would agree with that.
I liked Miranda a lot. Like as soon as you like shut down the relationship, the character got a lot more interesting, I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
So Samara, she thanks Shepard for helping out in the monastery. You're like, you're welcome.
That's about it.
You're welcome. I don't know that we needed the chat over Facebook or FaceTime, but okay.
They
did not know what to do with Samara at all, did they?
I 100% agree with this one. I will have no pushback on this one.
It's like, oh, we got this extra Asari laying around that we can't deal with. Like that's why I think the Morinth choice is so much better.
It's kind of why I wish there wasn't an option to, like the Paragon option to save her at the monastery. I kind of wish that wasn't there. I feel like that choice was really, really cool. But again, that's with the Samara, like they never went 100% on like the craziness that was Samara and Morinth. They kind of only went halfway. And I felt like with that storyline they were trying to tell, like they had to go all the way or it just wouldn't be very good. And it ended up being kind of like milquetoast. So,
yeah. Speaking
of Morinth, whoopsie, she's a banshee.
No, correction, she was.
She was a banshee. When you shared that screenshot, I was like, they did it.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
I like it was immediate like a Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV moment for me. It was so good. It was like I said, I was just spamming the screenshot button on my controller, just trying to get a good shot of her. It was great.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I was so glad that you caught that. That's so good.
Tally got me a bunch of different times in the last few missions, and I am so glad that she was, because even in the poly romance, you have to choose one as like your main romance, so that's who you get like the main scenes with. And Tally asks Shepard if they are okay, and Shepard kind of goes, it doesn't matter. And Tally really goes, no, you are checking on everybody all the time. Are you okay? And Shepard kind of relents a little bit. And Tally says, hey, I will always back you. I will always be with you. I have never regretted anything that I have done with you. And if you're dating Tally, she will talk about kind of Keelah Salai. And back on Rannoch, you can say, if you're her love interest, Keelah Salai is the Quarian translation of by the homeworld which I hope to see one day. And it is how they express like goodbye and also love to one another. And she will tell Shepard, I have found my home and it's with you. And her voice will crack as she just goes, but I just want more time. And it just broke me. It just broke me. And it was one of my favorite moments in the Mass Effect trilogy.
That's cool. That's cool.
Tally's voice actress was great.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely
job.
phenomenal.
Just an amazing job by her.
Rex gives a rousing speech. He thanks Shepard for giving him a chance, for giving the Krogan a chance. And he gives you an update that Eve, also known as Bakara, which is her actual name, is already pregnant. And they're going to name their first child Morden.
So funny. I love it so much. So, Shepard asks Jack how her and her team are doing. She tells Shepard that they're doing well, but they are way south of his current position. They saved some resistant fighters and are bringing them up our way. So I absolutely loved how they made Jack just this like integral part of like the fight. I thought it was super cool and super fun, and her team like were like a really big part of it. I wish we got more updates. Like I wish she just hung out on the Citadel in the bar or wherever, and you could go and like she'd have dialogue options about, oh, this fight just happened. Oh, or we just did this. Like I wanted more updates about like Jack and her team than we got. I was super disappointed that she like, you talked to her once, you could either restart the romance or not, and then she's gone. I was like, that's really disappointing. I wanted a whole lot more.
Yeah.
At the end of the FaceTime, her and Jack, if you're dating, they say that they love each other, and then she goes, come back, and then you don't. So that's a bummer.
All right. So Zaid figured Shep would be dead, as we all. But he's glad they aren't. He expects Sheps to give a great speech and complains it's a pretty crappy land war when the enemy is the size of skyscrapers. And, you know, Zaid's pretty right about it.
Pretty
about that.
right.
Like, seems unfair.
Yeah. Yeah, not to mention the hordes of zombies. That are,
also not
coming
fair.
out of them. Yeah, not fair, not cool. Yeah.
Not cool. Zaid nailed on the head with that one.
Taste my grilled cheese.
First good, Mataton.
Munch.
Sorry.
By the way, like I think it was shared in our Discord. There's a video of Zaid like teaching you how to make cookies. It's one of the greatest videos.
So good. He's making chocolate chip cookies. It is so funny.
Yeah.
And you know
anyway,
that Zaid actually makes those cookies too. Like that's canonical.
100%. That is 100% because it's like it's perfectly done. Anyway,
yes.
First good. I've said it several times on this episode. If you haven't figured it out yet, it's finding Morinth. Like like they didn't have to give her a story. I'm glad they didn't give her a story. I'm just glad that she just showed up as a random banshee at the end. Like, you know, and just close the book and just like you said, like the ending where like, you know, everybody dies at the end is a kind of a good ending, you know, like everybody gets overwhelmed at the end is a good ending. The fact that like this character that you spent part of 2 with, you know, it was kind of wondering, well, where's she at in 3? Well, you figure you found her. There she is. And you have to finish her off, otherwise you die.
Absolutely love it.
They're
not so good. They're not so good as the ending. I didn't see it coming. It wasn't at all what I expected. And not that it's a problem with an unexpected ending. I just didn't think it was like necessarily pulled off very well. I like it even less knowing that they added it after people complained. I think like the last thing if you're gonna make a difficult choice, like stand by that choice. Don't like be like, oh, okay, well if that's what you want, then here is an even worse choice. So I don't know. I don't know how I would have felt if I was only given the first 2 choices, but I feel like they wanting us to go to their green sparkles ending. I thought that was kind of a bummer. I think it'd be a lot less of a bummer if like the green sparkles ending just wasn't like this perfect ending where like everybody's around the campfire singing Kumbaya, everyone forgives everybody and everyone's best friends and lives happily ever after. Like there's no happily ever after in the real world. And so like this was a dark, gritty game, and then to have a happily ever after was really weird. And like I think it would be salvageable if Mass Effect 4 actually took place in this galaxy, and there didn't seem like it was like Kumbaya, happily ever after, and there were still problems to solve, but they didn't do that, and they just like shoved us into a whole other galaxy, which like we'll get there when we get there, because we're definitely going to get there. But I'm just very disappointed that like these stories ended on such a bizarre note. Like, it's a very unsatisfying ending, I feel like, because I feel there are still stories. These characters still have stories in them. There's still stories to be told in this world and with this cast of characters. And like, I think that is the hardest part of the whole thing, is that knowing that this story is over, and it is kind of an unsatisfying ending to a certain extent. So,
yeah, I've talked about why I still like this ending, but I think any ending is always tough, especially for an ending that has been several years in the making. But I also understand why people may not love it as much as I do.
And like I said, I wouldn't have a big problem with it if it wasn't like the capital T, capital E, the end. Like, if Mass Effect 4 was just like continue to tell these stories, but just not the story of the Reapers, that's cool. There are still stories to tell. And so I think that's the part that at the end, I think that is what is so unsatisfying. Not the choices that we had to make, but the fact that like this is it. I think that's the part that makes me a little bummed. And it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It could be worse.
I think the reason that you can't do that is because then you canonize one ending. You can't make a game that makes all three of those. I think people would have been really upset if you make one the canon ending and the other just like lies.
Life is Strange did that. Like, you can definitely canonize an ending.
That's
like,
true.
Yeah. You just say, hey, here's the canonical ending, and then move on. Like, I think that's okay. And like, again, like if they just stuck with the initial two endings, like you either control or destroy, you could tell those stories pretty easy by just picking out like let's say with the let's say you chose to control, right? So in the control ending, there's still terrible stuff happening, but maybe you have this like shepherd robot thing, and like they're like diving into the Reapers and they're discovering stuff, right? And they're learning about this Reaper tech and everything. And then in this destroy ending, you don't have Edie and you don't have the Geth and you don't have the Reapers. But like every other story can still happen within that universe with those two options, right? Like those don't have to be the ends of a story. You can tell a story with just one of those ways going without things being totally different. Where things get really crazy is when you decide that you have this evergreen, literally evergreen ending where everything is happy and there's just a tall man and a short man talking about the quote shepherd. So I think that they could have kept Mass Effect 4 in this galaxy and kept both endings as canonical if they had stuck to their guns a little bit.
I'm curious because Matt has already talked about the kind of the pickup at the end. I am going to talk about mine. Dano, who was your pickup when Joker landed to make the emergency pickup on the final push to the beam?
Oh, I talk about this a little bit later. It's Garrus.
Okay. Then we'll talk about it when we talk about it.
Yeah, I think I talk about it after you talk about... I talk about what I'm struggling with, so I'll talk about it there.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Garrus. I took Garrus and LaCroix Shepherd, and it was Garrus that got injured, so... Yeah.
The best good is the forward operating base. That kind of final moment before the final push to the beam, I think it's just a perfect capstone to the series. I think that there are some moments in that section that are just absolutely phenomenal.
Couldn't agree more.
He asks each traveler 3 questions. 3 questions. 3, that's a magic number. I will ask myself 3 questions.
Hey, Matt, what you liking so far?
So far, the game. The game was good. The fights in the final stages really brought some of my favorite parts of the game. Like especially like the last fights on Earth. They were very difficult, but fair in a way. At least on normal, they were fair.
Fair to me.
I mean, fair if like in a horde mode kind of like it really was like a horde mode feel, and I think that's what I was really looking forward to in this game. Like just like being stuck in a corner and you're like in like you're in like the shot up like convenience store, and you're just like you have waves of like all these Reapers coming after you, and you have to like try to survive, and it's so much fun. I enjoyed that so much. Storm Rage, what are you liking so far?
The last dance with everybody, like the forward operating base, the moments beforehand, the conversations just had me bawling throughout the last majority of it. And I'm really glad that I had the poly-romance mod installed so I could see the romanced final conversations with everyone, because they were just beautiful. And I think written in such an effective way and in a way that really pulled at my heartstrings just time and time again. I loved it. Dano.
I got 2 here, and the first one is you with your harem mod. Like, it's absolutely perfect. I'm so glad that you used it. I'm looking forward to the stream next year where you have the harem mod for all 3 games. Sounds great. But for real though, it felt like a guerrilla campaign against an overwhelming foe. It was super cool. That last like priority Earth was great. Like everything up until and through the pressing of those buttons was amazing. And it felt hard, and it felt difficult, and it felt overwhelming, and it felt impossible. And I loved that. Like, it was frustrating. Like, I got frustrated, like, no doubt, because it was so hard. But, like, it was also perfect for that. Like, if it had been easy, it would have felt cheap and not good enough. So I'm so glad that they pulled the trigger on that. What are you struggling with there, Matt?
What I'm struggling with, hold on. Realizing the first ending was the first ending I picked was the one I preferred. Like I went through and like I went back and did all 3, and finding out and like basically like the green fusion one didn't work for me at all. The control ending didn't work for me at all because it's, we're controlling their Reapers. The elusive man was right. Also, I might be indoctrinated. Who knows? And then like the destroy, but like the fact that the destroy ending, this is the one that worked for me, and especially the fact that Shepard dies because of the destroy ending, really works for me. There's some, there's some obvious analogs with, Christian mythology of Shepard being Jesus in this game. It's hinted at like a lot. In fact, you're a shepherd. Hello. It worked. That's the one that worked for me and made the most sense. Like in the long run, like I said, I went back. I watched all 3 endings. They were very similar. It's honestly the big major differences were the primary colors coming out of the Citadel, and a couple other things. But like, and the dialogue at the end was also different.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to go back and do the refusal to see what that one is, because that one seems super cool, but it doesn't fit in the storyline I was playing in the game.
Yep.
So, what are you struggling with, Stormrage?
Honestly, nothing. I had so much fun doing this last section. Every single moment hit for me. I loved every story beat. I loved every combat. I loved every level. I loved every choice. I know that kind of cheapens me being at all critical of this game or any future game, but I just loved it. I just had a great time. Dano?
So you asked like which companion got taken up by Joker at the end. And so Jack wasn't there, obviously, because she's, doing her own thing. So for me, it was Garrus. And so as Garrus goes up, he's like, I'm still a better shot than you. Have fun dying, noob. Which that last bit I added, but it was a callback to like the friend mode thing where they like had like this sniper shot thing. And I was like, oh, it really didn't hit at all. Like it was, I would have much preferred, I had LaCroix Shepard with me. I thought like LaCroix Shepard saying something like, you can't go. I don't know, but no, that would have been awful too. There'd been something like Loco or something. It would have been terrible. But yeah, that I was disappointed that I didn't have there was no like current character that was being dated, because that last moment just didn't hit like I would have if it was somebody else. But it was fine, and it was fun getting to save Garrus and LaCroix Shepard. So, but yeah, could have been better. Mm-hmm. What surprised you about the game there, Matt?
Once again, the emotions that this game pulls out of me. Especially like right at that last forward operating base, like you said. It's the end. Everybody knows it's the end. This is the final battle. This is like the end of the game. This is like this is the part of the game that's important. Everything after that's denouement, right? How could and the fact that like I can't see the challenge ahead of them to make a sequel within the same universe, like same galaxy in this game. without it being like 10,000 years in the future where like
Oh.
possible next cycle starts up again. You know
There
what
are
I mean?
stories to tell with these characters, though. Like I know
I
that
know,
you
but-
have your opinion. I know that there's like still stories to tell here, and
It's like-
I want to hear them so badly.
The thing is the story of Liara, the shepherd, and the people that worked with the shepherd for me is done. I don't want to know. I don't care what Liara's doing next week. I don't really care what Garrus is doing next week. After I don't want to see Garrus at the beach, even though that'd be a great way for fan service. Garrus in a swimsuit, that'd be cool, right?
I'd be a fan of that. I'd vote yes on that.
Yeah. So, or actually, no. It'd be nice to see the Garrus and Tally relationship that developed in my game
mine too.
happen. Because I didn't date either of them, so they got together, and it's like, but it's also like the story of this cycle of this Reaper cycle is done for me. I'm ready to move on to using this universe and introducing myself to new characters that I might maybe try and fall in love with, and maybe that's what they tried to do with Andromeda and it didn't work because they never made a sequel to it. So, Stormrage, what surprised you?
I went into this last fight really confident I was going to choose Synthesis because it felt like the right choice for my shepherd of like truly and utterly uniting the galaxy in a way that maybe is unrealistic, maybe in a way that doesn't really make sense, but in a way that felt good for my shepherd. I changed my mind during the final pickup. The final pickup, Joker comes in, Tally is bloodied and bruised, and Liara is carrying her off. And Shepard screams, "Go, build your home." And she screams, "But I already have a home. Come back to me." And I couldn't tell her no. I couldn't not do everything in my power to not come back to her. And it felt like in a very real way of like, and I don't mean to get like too sappy, but if like my actual partner made that request, I would do everything I could to get back. I would do everything I could to get back home. And I just kind of stared at the screen and cried for a bit. And it just hit me so heavy. And then seeing the end scene of Tally refusing to put my name back up and then seeing the rubble move, it just felt right. So that way Shepard and Tally could build their home. Matt, what surprised you?
That
Or
you
Dano.
didn't pick
Dano.
Dan instead of me.
I loved the final fight on Earth. They did an incredible job of making it feel, and it not just feel, but it was a completely hopeless fight that you could not win. Like, this is unwinnable. You can just like cheese an ending. That's all you can do. You can cheese a victory here. Like there's no way to save the lives. There's no way to save anybody here. All you can do is just take one last Hail Mary and hope it gets done. And it was awesome. Like, it felt completely and utterly hopeless. Like, every mission felt impossible. The odds felt overwhelming in every single fight. Like, it was so difficult, and it was perfect, which is why I felt so disappointed when, like, it didn't end at that moment when I thought for sure it was going to end. But I was like, they made this so incredibly hard. They didn't like shy away from it whatsoever. And I loved every second of it. Like, even the frustrating bits when I was like, I just couldn't run fast enough, or I got stuck on a wall, or whatever would happen. And then I would or that Banshee got one attack off before I got to the computer console or whatever it might be. It was still perfect. And I loved it because you just felt like you were hanging on by a thread the entire time. Like, you were just unhinged, like running from like unsolvable, unwinnable moment to unsolvable, unwinnable moment. It was so cool. I absolutely loved that. That Priority Earth was perfect. It was the perfect mission.
Let's Let's get salty!
We haven't had time for salt, but we're making time for salt today.
Do it.
Storm Rage. Start us off.
This is by Kiss of Life. They recommended this after 115 hours on record, and their review is as follows. Shepard. Rex. End of review.
It's
Yeah.
perfect. No notes.
It's perfect. I love Rex so much.
I know, me too.
I just want to give Rex a hug. I want to give Rex the biggest hug.
Matt, take the next one for me, please.
This one's from Lucy McLean with 269.9 hours, nice, on record. I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite game on Steam.
Hoyt,
Good,
1 hour at review time. This is
Yeah.
somebody that bought the remastered version after playing a lot of the original game.
Yep.
And played
I've
it a lot more after that.
I've got Lemonade, and they have 82 hours on record, 0.2 at review time. Garrus, bro. Shepard, yeah, bro. Garrus, tell the world we're bros. Shepard, whispers, we're bros. Garrus, why'd you whisper, bro? Shepard, you're my world, bro. Garrus, bro.
That's
then-
the truth. That's the relationship.
Storm Rage, could you do this last one for me, please?
Why won't this bit die?
the
Why
greatest
won't
bit we've
this
ever done.
bit die?
You know what we're talking
This is
about.
by Dano Play, who has 201.6 hours on record. Holy cow, we played a lot of this game. People keep saying that Citadel commerce is unfair, and that stores screw them over. Turns out there may actually be some merit to it. I hate conspiracy theories a lot, but Commander Shepard has a patent describing how they endorse stores to increase revenue. A rabbit hole worth exploring.
Mm-hmm.
A rabbit hole worth exploring?
No. Just no. It's no. It's not.
Pretty proud of that one. We're not done yet, folks.
Game reviews. Game reviews.
All right, we're going to go ahead and give our final game review, then we'll give our rankings. So I'm going to get started. They say great art is great because of its flaws. Don't look that up. I'm sure someone said it. So Mass Effect 3 is great because of its flaws. It's not a perfect game, but it's an amazing game. For everything that I want to say is wrong with it, there are 5 other things that are absolutely amazing. If you like role-playing games, you have to play the Mass Effect trilogy. Stormrage?
There is simply no other game that is quite like Mass Effect. Landing to a trilogy in the years in the making is nearly impossible. Is it perfect? No. Are there flaws if you dig beneath the surface? There are. But if you take the game for what it gives you, enjoy the moments you get, embrace the emotion, embrace everything the game does have, it's amazing. I think art is great when it connects. It is great when it makes you feel something. This game has made me feel something different every time I've played it. That's an accomplishment. This game connects me with ways in which I didn't know video games could. From Morden's final scene, someone else might have got it wrong, to Thane embarrassing an assassin, to Tali pleading with me to stay, to build a home, to Liara believing in my legacy, to Garrus being the best friend anyone could ask for. There are too many moments and characters to mention, and that is why this series is without a doubt my favorite video game series of all time. And Mass Effect 3 is my favorite installment in that series. Matt?
Mass Effect 3 and the Mass Effect trilogy in general isn't about the ending. It's about is the ending kind of a letdown and maybe kind of bad? Maybe. It's your it's up to you. The cliche of the journey and the joke, the friends and the friends we make along the way, really kind of work here. Like, it's the journey of the game, the 3 games especially, and the joke of, the friends you make along the way. It's all the characters we meet while we play the game. Every character we spend a good amount of time with feels real. We get to know them really well and get to see what happens to a lot of them that don't die along the way. And your choices decide who gets to continue the story with you. will I have? I will have no problem replaying this game from time to time. Like it'll just be there. It'll come to get back to this game like I come back to old episodes of Star Trek, where I just feel like watching some Star Trek. I'll pick like a couple episodes out, or I'll just pick a series and just grab an episode at random. I'll do this with this game. So if I feel like I need a shooter, like with a good story, with like great characters, I'll just pick this up. Just pick up like in the middle of a game. Like I really feel like playing Mass Effect 3 with like bad options. We'll do that. We'll do that.
You did the bad option gameplay already.
No, I didn't. No. Like I make other bad choices, I glossed over a lot of the details you can do technically because, it's a good game, and I'm glad that allows you to game you can go deep into builds in this game. I glossed over that completely. I just let the game decide my auto level throughout all 3 games. I let it do the auto level throughout my squad for all 3 games. I'm glad the game let you do that.
Dano and I are looking horrified at this thought.
No, I was just like, auto level, cool, we're good. I just upgraded my weapons. And yeah, I just did it. But the fact that I can now, like, I've gone through the story. I can now get deeper into this game and, like, get into the technical side of things and figure out what build I like, how I want to build it, what powers go. I'm really looking forward to getting deep into that. I just wanted to get through the story and get through and understand the game and see if I actually like the game. I do like the game a lot. Now I will go back. Next replays, I will be a lot more technical of how I build things, how I level up my character, how I level up my squad. But the fact that it allows you to do that and it's still a very good and playable game is amazing. Like it allows you not to just get lost in the details. It allows you to enjoy the story for what it is, and it's great. I love this game.
I'll be honest. I'm not sure we brought it up, but Storm Rage did complete all 3 games on Insanity, and it's a
100%,
3.2% achievement, gold achievement. That's
impressive. That's super impressive.
That's all on my list of things to do now, is to play through all 3 games on Insanity.
If you can do 3, you can do 1 and 2. 3 is by far the most difficult of the 3.
All right, so here's what I'll do. I will just ask, okay, Matt, what's your 8th favorite game? Storm Rage, what's your 8th? And then I'll tell my 8th. That's how we'll do this. So these are our game rankings. As a reminder, what we've played so far, we played Cult of the Lamb, Hades 2, Life is Strange, Darkest Dungeon, Return of the Obra Dinn, Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. We will count starting at 8 and going back to 1. Matt, what is your least favorite game that we have played?
Cult of the Lamb.
Storm Rage, least favorite game.
Make it 2, Cult of the Lamb, baby.
Well, you're both wrong, because the worst game we played is Return of the Obra Dinn. Matt, what is your 7th favorite game?
Darkest Dungeon.
Storm Rage.
Make it 2, Darkest Dungeon.
You're both wrong, because the 7th worst game we played is Mass Effect 1. I'm not sure. That might not be right anymore, actually. I might go back and change that. The 7th worst game we played is definitely Cult of the Lamb. I'm changing my rankings on the fly. Matt, what is your 6th favorite game?
Return of the Obra Dinn.
Storm Rage.
Hades 2. Crazy that that's number 6 in my book.
By the way, the update on Hades 2 is insane.
I cannot
so good.
wait for this game to come out for full. I honestly can't wait. My 6th favorite game is Mass Effect 1. Well, it's number 5 for you there, Matt.
Life is Strange.
Storm Rage.
Make it 2, Life is Strange.
Mine is Hades 2, which, by the way, when this game comes out solid, it's going to be number 1. Really high up there.
It'll be high.
That game, I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited for it.
I've been playing it when I can, and it is so
I refuse until it's 1.0. I'm just refuse.
I'm just doing a run here or there, and it's so good.
I bet. Number 4, Matt.
Mass Effect 1.
Storm Rage.
Mass Effect 1. Make it 2.
We just copy our notes. Don't just make it look different, right?
My 4th is Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3, number 4. All right, top 3 for you, Matt. 3rd.
Mass Effect 3.
Storm Rage.
Mass Effect 3, number 3.
Obra Dinn.
Ooh. My third favorite game is Life is Strange. Number 2 for you, Matt.
Hades 2. Very good.
Yeah. Storm Rage.
Mass Effect 2.
Oh my gosh, Storm Rage, you serious about Mass Effect 3 as your number 1? Number 2 for me is Darkest Dungeon. I'm shocked. Number 1 for you, Matt.
Mass Effect 2. So good.
So
good.
Storm Rage, tell us how you're wrong here.
Mass Effect 3 is my number 1 game. I think that the combat in 3 is just really smooth, and I think that the thing that I want most in a game is I want to feel things, and I want to feel that emotion, and I think Mass Effect 3 does that better than any other game on this list.
That is completely fair. My favorite game is Mass Effect 1.
Mass Effect 2?
Honestly, my number 1.
Wait,
Mass Effect 2.
you said Mass Effect. Mass Effect. Okay,
Mass
I heard
Effect
Mass
2.
Effect 1 at number
no.
1, and I was like, that's not right.
Nope.
No.
Mass Effect 2 is number 1. And honestly, like, Mass Effect 3 is so good. It's just how much I love Darkest Dungeon, Life is Strange. Like, they're Mount Rushmore video games for me. Like, that's the only reason Mass Effect 3 isn't high on this list, because there aren't many games there's one other game I've ever played in my life that I liked more than Darkest Dungeon, Life is Strange. I mean, maybe Final Fantasy 6 when I was a kid, but like, crazy good game. All right, so next week, we're starting Chrono Trigger. Play through the end of time if you're playing along with us. I cannot wait. That's it for this week. Stick around for After Dark, where we pull up Mass Effect and we compare notes. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to all our patrons for patronizing us. Special thank you to Forrest Bates for subbing during this episode. Special thank you to our producer, best friends for Baximus and RidiculousHat. You can find links to our Discord and contact information in the pinned comment on our Patreon page at patreon.com/squelch.
And Mass Effect 3 is a game, and games are supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Thanks for slinging those Mass Effect relays with us.
I am the very model of a scientist Solarian. I've studied species Turian, Asari, and Batarian. I'm quite good at genetics as a subset of biology because I am an expert, which I know is a tautology. My xenoscience studies range from urban to agrarian. I am the very model of a scientist Solarian.
Greatest character.
Show! Everybody bye!
If I knew that you could have multiple endings at the end there, I would have chosen the ending you chose, Storm Rage. I think it's a better ending.
Destroy?
I think so, too.
Was Shepard living or Shepard dying?
Well, you don't get to choose, right? Shepard just lives or dies?
You don't. Unless you just, did worse in the game if you just had less war assets.
Yeah, I would have liked the Destroy ending less if Shepard lived at the end of it. Or was ambiguous that Shepard lived or died. Because Zombie Shepard, we already have Zombie Shepard. We don't need double Zombie Shepard.
What if we had a third Zombie Shepard?
I think I would like that ending better if Shepard didn't live, but I don't dislike Shepard living.
It's a bummer about the Geth, and it's a bummer about Edie, but it's the one that closes the story for me.
But hard decisions are cool.
Agree.
I love a hard decision. The fact that they just totally copped out and gave you an easy way out and then narratively drove you into that one, it's a really big bummer. I kind of want to go back and just to finish the save and then choose that ending so that I can have that be my final.
Like I did. I went back and did all three, and I watched all three ending cinematics, and I'm like, the Destroy with Shepard dying at the end worked best for me.
I do think if I had to play this game through, I'd probably play Storm Rage's game where I had Tally, and then I think that sounds like the best ending. I feel like date Tally and then just choose the Destroy option. Super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I do FemShep if I do FemShep again, if I'm going to do Garrus or not, because Garrus is too much of a bro.
I'm absolutely gonna romance Garrus the next time that I play. He is on my list.
I think the best ending would be the absolute best ending would be if you could romance Edie and then choose destroy. Now that would be cool. Like,
you monster.
Like, because difficult decisions are cool.
Yeah.
Like, I love a good hard decision. This game would be better if they didn't put the green sparkly ending in it. The green sparkly ending is a bummer.
That's fair.
It's a bummer ending.
Yeah, but people on the internet got mad years ago.
Well, people on the
They
internet
got
are
real mad.
wrong all the time.
Super mad. Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to head over to After Dark. So we're taking off here. We're going to shut the stream down. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you to Forrest again for the Twitch sub. And hey, we'll talk at you all again next week, unless you're a patron. Then we're going to go talk to you right now.
Bye-bye.
Matt?
Bye. I'm sorry, I was loading up Calculate It.